Well, hello, besties. How are you? It's so good to see you. You know how when you go and you get a surgical procedure and they tell you beforehand to not make any big decisions or don't film or don't do anything important afterwards because you're on anesthesia and will have the side effects from that for a good chunk of the day after, when you have that procedure done? Yeah, well, I'm just gonna ignore that and let you guys know that I just had my port removal today. Ooh, look at that. Oh, sorry. Oh, I should be very careful because I don't want you guys to be all grossed out by that. I didn't know it wasn't covered. That's the first time that I've seen it. I just had the removal a couple hours ago, so I've come to, but I've only been really out of it or really coming to in the last hour. So that's fantastic. I gotta say that that procedure was the most, I've had 13 actual surgeries within the last 12 calendar months. So I'm gonna say from 2020 until 2021, I've had 13 surgeries, and we're going to just count this procedure as one too, even though it's not really a surgery. But this time it was so fantastic. So fantastic. Just know that I'm super loopy today, and that's okay because I'm feeling really good. Zero pain whatsoever, which is mighty wonderful. With other surgeries and procedures, especially for the any of the laparoscopic stuff, and especially when they do biopsies and things like that, or even when they put the port in, usually you're kind of awake for it. At most, they'll give you what is it called? The twilight anesthesia, which kind of puts you out a little bit, but you're still awake. For me, what has happened over time is that when they do the shot pain and the IV painkillers that's supposed to numb everything, it only numbs the top layers, and everything underneath it I can completely feel. So this time we actually did a different route, and I was so tickled that this doctor was cool with it. This time they put me out all the way for it, even though it's just a simple little procedure. Um, and they didn't make me feel bad about it or anything like that either. They were just super supportive and were like, Carrie, you've been through a lot. You don't need to deal with that. So we're just going to put you under so that way you don't have to feel anything, and it's going to be very pleasant for you. Oh my gosh, they were so right. It was so good. It was so good. I went to sleep and I woke up. It was great, and I have zero pain because the medicines are still on board, but I don't foresee it being too big of a deal at all. And this time, instead of getting glue, I'm allergic to glue and all sorts of stuff. They did stitches instead, so I'm okay with that scar. Whatever, it's just extra cool scars on my belt. Whatever. So because I'm loopy, don't hold it against me later, but I'm just got my truth serum going on. It was really funny though, because as I was coming to from the procedure, they knock you out, and as I was coming to, I was saying the weirdest stuff to the nurse. Oh my gosh. So when I was out, I was actually had this kind of dream thing. It was super vivid and wonderful that I went to a place of where I was hanging out with my grandpa, who we call Pop Pop, and he's passed. He's on the other side, and he was drinking his iced tea, and I don't know, I probably was drinking some warm tea or whatever, but we were just cuddling and talking, and it was just such a great experience. And I'm not saying that that happened for real, but in that dream altered state of being in anesthesia, that's what happened. So as I woke up, I was talking to the nurse as though she was part of the experience in the dream, which was not the case. So I sounded like a freaking loony bin. And that's okay. I'm still kind of embarrassed about what happened, but I'm pretty sure she's seen that before since, they're nurses for surgery. I'm sure a lot of people say a lot of weird things when they're coming through. Well, today was my turn. So I kind of almost wish that it could have been recorded though, because it was weird, the stuff that I was saying out of my mouth. I was just like, oh my gosh. The other part too is like now that I'm home and stuff, my kids, I kind of forgot to tell them that I was doing this procedure today. Oops, I forgot. But two of my daughters called right when we got home, and they're just talking like, "Hey, mom," blah 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 blah, like they always do. We're a very engaged, happy family. That's cool. But at the same time, I was like to both of them separately, I'm not going to remember anything we're talking about here. So be careful. You can tell me whatever you want, but I'm not going to remember anything you say. And both of them were laughing, trying to mess with me, making jokes about being loopy and all that stuff, and trying to see what I'll remember and not. And both of them just talked me into spending the day looking up bizarre TikTok stuff and sending it to them. They're like, yeah, we want that mood, So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So the one thing that I have going on today is sending stupid TikToks to my kids. So that'll be fun. I wanted to see how you guys were doing though. Yeah, everything. I feel super, yeah, right now. I wouldn't say like I don't know. It's just anesthesia, and you know how that feels if you've done any procedures. My thing today is I have to be careful not to overdo it, which I usually have a tendency of doing because, as I feel good, I want to do as much as I can while I'm feeling good. But then I'm like later on why I'm in so much pain. And it was because I overdid it and not even thinking about it since I feel so good. So this is great feeling like this is the first time in so long I have zero pain whatsoever. But just for safety stuff, I've got that cancer in my spine too, which totally hurts all the time, but I'm sitting on a heating pad. So between that and what's going on, I feel so good. Just letting you know, this feels very nice to for once not have any pain going on whatsoever. Today I'm not wearing any of the makeups whatsoever, and I wanted to show you guys, see all this stuff? This is my natural. I've had this since I was a kid. It's kind of red, but it's also frecklies, and on both sides I've got tons of freckles, but you can't really see them here. But yeah, I have, and then after I had my left ovary removed because of that cancer. It made it so that way I had a whole full hysterectomy scenario because they took out the first part of it when I had ovarian surgery, cancer when sorry, not ovarian cancer, jeez, uterine cancer when I was younger. They removed my uterus, my fallopian tube on my right side, and my ovary on my right side. I just realized I'm not wearing my rings. I feel so naked. Oh, anyway, so what was I saying? So then when they found the cancer on my left ovary, they removed that. And so that made it so I'm full hysterectomy. And where on earth was I going with that? Yeah, so that's where I am in my head right now. I don't remember what I was going to say, but I'm sure it had some type of significance somewhere. You ever feel like this? Anyway, I just wanted to say hi. I love you guys tons. And oh, thank you. Side note, thank you for all the subscriptions I'm getting on Facebook too from you guys. I love it because, on Facebook you can see people's pictures and what they look like and all that. I'm not always the fastest though to respond just because I get hundreds of emails and Facebook messages and all that stuff a day. So I try to get to all of them, but I do read the messages too, and I'm trying to get back to people as soon as possible. But I'm really, really stoked that you guys are adding me on there, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you guys a little bit that way too, because I know a lot of people, when you're on Facebook or those other social medias, we tend to share a little bit more. And Facebook for me, I'm not, I don't use all the apps, all the stuff out there. I'm just not that cool, and I'm okay with not being that cool. But Facebook I do use a lot because it's just easy and it's familiar. So, why ruin a good thing? But on Facebook I put all sorts of stupid memes up. It's kind of funny, kind of obnoxious, but it's fully carry. Sometimes funny, definitely obnoxious. Anyway, so yeah, continue adding me there. Thank you guys for all those people who have booked appointments with me for readings. That's been excellent, and I'm trying to get all of you guys on the books too. I will be starting radiation next month, I believe, or in February. We're trying to decide what's going to work best, and we're going to do radiation definitely on my spine for that cancer there, and we're going to see if we can do radiation on my left adrenal gland as well. I'm hoping that that'll be a yes, and if they can get rid of that tumor, that would also take care of my hyperaldosterone, hopefully. So because that tumor is causing that in addition to other stuff. Boy, does cancer suck. My cousin got me this super comfortable sweater. Look, it's so comfy. I figured it's perfect to wear that today. It's just so comfy. Out of my mind comfy. Like when you feel like super loved and super cozy and all that stuff. Yeah, that's how this is making me feel today. Anyway, I can't remember exactly where I was going with the other part too, but thank you guys for supporting me. I really, really appreciate it. And thanks for putting up with me today while I'm super loopy. I'll film later on this week too, of course, but I thought I would take advantage of this loopy moment there. I keep saying things like deep thought matters, but then I forget what I'm saying. So, I guess it's normal, but I'm super loopy. Love you guys tons. I hope you're doing well. I will talk to you soon. Mwah.